If you believe that the earth is round, these theories may convince you otherwise. I mean, I'm not convinced, but hell, you might be.
All right, guys, I got a standard map of the world here. And what I'm going to do right now is look up flights from New Zealand to Argentina. And should be a pretty straightforward flight, as we can see from the map here. But let's see what Google Flights has to say. So I've got Auckland, New Zealand to Buenos Aires. I'm going to hit search. Found a flight here. 2 stops, LAX, JFK. Okay. Auckland to Los Angeles. Los Angeles to JFK. JFK to Buenos Aires, Argentina.
Wait, why are we having to go through the US like this?
Interesting. Let's look at the map again. So they want you to fly from here all the way up there, and then all the way across the United States, and then come back down to Argentina. Why do you think that is? Does that make any logical sense at all? Now, what I have here is the standard flat Earth model of the world, Gleason's map. And here, this is New Zealand. According to that flight, we'd be going New Zealand to LAX, there, and then down. It's pretty much a straight line.
Okay, I see what he did here. According to the flat Earth map, you know, you'll be going from over here down to the US to take a little pit stop, little break, and then you come down this way, which is somewhat of a straight line. And it would make sense if the earth is indeed flat, and this is an example of that, to stop in the US for a layover and, you know, obviously for those planes to refuel, and then hop back on a plane and come down here. That would make sense. And as convincing as this is, I'm still not convinced, because when I look up and see a round moon and a round sun, I can only think that this planet is round too. It only makes sense, but what do I know?
Really believe the Earth's flat?
Yes.
100%.
Yes.
Okay, tell me why. I want to know, like, definitively why you believe that.
Number one, the flat Earth actually brought me to God, not the Bible. The first page of Genesis talks about the firmament. Why the Earth is because, Bradley, you've never in your life seen a picture of Mars, Jupiter, Pluto that's not computer generated.
All right, let's talk about that for a second. He says you've never seen in your life a picture of Mars, Jupiter, or Pluto, any of these planets that was not computer generated. That doesn't explain how the Earth is flat, for one. And these flat earthers will make you believe that you've never even seen a picture of our own planet that wasn't computer generated, right? But who's to say that every picture of Earth that we have seen was computer generated? Some of them might have been real.
You don't think
The Big
aliens?
Bang
You don't think
Theory?
aliens are real?
All fake news.
Really?
Look at Operation Fishbowl Dominic. Dominic in Latin means of the Lord, fishbowl of the Lord.
So he said he doesn't believe that aliens are real. Now, why would he say that? Instead of elaborating, I can only come to the conclusion that he doesn't believe that aliens are real because of the fact that these UAP sightings that we have had throughout the years, and these claims of having extraterrestrials who have landed and we have recovered them, is impossible if there is a firmament indeed over our planet. Now, why couldn't he just say that rather than saying that life outside of this planet isn't real or doesn't exist? That's what I would say. If I was a believer that this earth was flat and that we had a dome over our planet, I would think that, you know what, maybe there is other aliens out there, and that's part of the reason why we have this firmament over our planet, is to keep them from getting inside.
Dominic in Latin means of the Lord, fishbowl of the Lord. They shot rockets to try and crack the firmament. Satellites are not real. When you Google satellites, it's all CGI photos of satellites.
Are you saying satellites are not real?
Absolutely fake.
Satellites.
Yes. Now, if you look at the ones that are real, it's the ISS. Right?
See, just went on to say that the satellites, if you Google satellites, all of them are fake. And then he said the ones that are real. I thought you just said all of them were fake. If I let this video play through without any interruptions or questioning anything that he had to say, you would think that he was delivering a very compelling argument. But we got to question it all, right? Let's listen.
That are real, it's the ISSS. They've been caught with harnesses, wires, green screen, chroma keys, blue screens. They've been caught faking space. How could...
Well, we know this. We have seen that. We can't say that it was all faked. I did see that rat that was on that one satellite recently. I saw that video of a rat crawling around like it was not in space, like it can breathe just perfectly fine. Yeah, that. And that was supposed to be a clip from NASA, right?
You have a pressurized system like Earth in the vacuum of space. It's a logical fallacy. And you're going to say gravity? Why things rise and fall is because of density. The foam is denser than the medium that surrounds it, which is air. And when you scroll out and leave low Earth orbit, it turns to computer generated again.
But one thing about these flat earthers, I don't know a single one of them that has ever been as high as the firmament that they claim exists. Hey, look, I'm not saying that they're wrong, but because I don't know the facts, I also won't say that they're right. Now, this is supposed to be an example of a rocket hitting the so-called firmament. Check this out. This rocket is going up into space, right? It's spinning. Luckily, it's not spinning too fast to where we can't make out what it is that we're seeing. It definitely looked like it is climbing. It is beyond the clouds right now. It hasn't caught a blaze, if you notice that. But if you also paid enough attention, boom, okay, now it's actually starting to rotate. The claims are, at this point, it has hit the firmament and it's just rotating. It won't go any higher. It won't go any further into space because there is something blocking it. But what's interesting is how it rotated in the way that it did, and then it kind of just went straight. So I would imagine, let's use this marker as an example. It's going up into space, right? It hits the firmament and it continues to rotate. We didn't hear a boom or a clash or this thing exploding on impact, because I'm pretty sure it went at a significant enough speed to where it should have broken to pieces had it hit some sort of wall or film, right? Or at least went off axis and maybe went into a different direction, but none of that occurred. This thing is just supposedly hitting the firmament almost as if it was magnetized to it and just spinning and not going any higher. That makes me believe that this clip is indeed CGI, but hits the firmament, it states, which is definitely something that a flat earther would want us to believe, right? Look, it like it might be going off axis now again, but this still isn't making enough sense. Why did the video have to end there? What I just saw looked like spinning, and then maybe it got to a point where it was spinning like this, and then something happened magically where it started to fall back down to earth, but we didn't see if it actually landed in the water or on land or anything, because the video just ended there. Kind of like how these flat earth theorists are. They don't give us enough information to really prove their point. But let's check out this next clip, because maybe, just maybe, it has enough compelling information to change our minds. It says, thunder proves that we live under a dome. What they're about to do is pop these balloons underneath this big dome, and it's gonna sound like it's replicating thunder.
2, 1. That sounds.
Kinda how thunder actually is. When you see a strike happens, there's a delay before you hear the rumble in the sky. But is that proof that we live under a dome? I feel like those lightning strikes are so small in comparison to the scope of the earth that it wouldn't make sense that we will be able to hear that echo so loud if that firmament is indeed really high at its peak in the sky, right? But one thing that you don't hear the flat earth theorists really bring up a lot is the fact that if indeed the earth is flat, then that means it is bigger in circumference than what we knew the round earth to be, right? It would only make sense. You take something round and every aspect and element of it and lay it out flat, it would be much wider, much bigger in circumference than it was when it was round. Growing up, what did we know this to be? We knew that light travels faster than the speed of sound, right? The speed of light travels faster than the speed of sound. So it would only make sense that we would hear this aftershock after the initial strike of the lightning. What we're hearing is sound that was emitted from a powerful source, one that's capable of sending thousands of volts of electricity, if not millions. But at the same time, if you think about echoes and how we know them to work, if you scream or yell inside a big room or an auditorium, you would hear that echo of your voice, but it's only because of the room that you're in. This one is a compelling theory, I must say.
According to the heliocentric Earth model, the Earth is 24,000 miles in circumference, and if one were standing at sea level, they should only be able to see less than 3 miles before the surface of the Earth curves out of view. But this has been proven to be false for centuries, from the Bedford level experiments of 1838 to modern photography. This photograph of Chicago was taken almost 60 miles away from Grand Mere State Park in Michigan. On a spherical Earth, this would be impossible. Using the Pythagorean theorem and the current dimensions of the Earth, the top of the tallest skyscraper should be 900 feet below the observable horizon. Local news explained this anomaly by claiming the image was a mirage.
And what you're seeing here is a mirage. We typically would not be able to see this from the Lake Michigan shore. We talked about this last night.
Oh, man, it's like when when you're using ignorance to explain something away, they're just putting this off as being a mirage. They're saying, well, I guess what, 3 miles away, if you're 3 miles away, you should start to see some sort of curvature. If the tallest building is 900 feet tall, then you wouldn't be able to see it at a certain distance, like from the distance that this photo was taken. If it was taken indeed 56 miles away, you wouldn't be able to see the tip of the tallest building of the world because it would be on that curvature, right? To say this is a mirage, though, I was like, what do I know of mirages? I thought a mirage was almost something that you see because you're hallucinating because of the heat or something, right? But no, that's not indeed it. A mirage is an optical illusion caused by atmospheric conditions, especially the appearance of a sheet of water in the desert or a hot road caused by the reflection of light from the sky by heated air. A mirage isn't necessarily something that you see because you're hallucinating, but this is one of the few cases where I've ever heard of a mirage being captured on camera. Now, if their math is actually mathing, this would actually be proof that the Earth is indeed flat.
Conditions are right on the lake, that we're actually seeing a mirage.
They claimed that somehow light refraction and perfect weather conditions are responsible for creating a photorealistic mirage of the Chicago skyline, appearing to sit on the flat horizon from almost 60 miles away. Anomalies in the Earth's curvature can also be found in old lighthouses, able to be seen for several miles past what is possible on the heliocentric model, and weapons guidance systems that are capable of sighting targets that would only be possible on a flat plane. We are accustomed to observing ships disappearing over the curve, but with modern consumer cameras, we can observe that this seems to be an optical illusion based on light reflection and the laws of perspective. Many of us tend to think the planet is too big to observe curvature, but the empirical evidence tells us that either the surface of the Earth is a flat plane or the planet is at least 100 times bigger.
So that would mean that my theory was correct. And I didn't even look at this video before I had the idea. So that would mean that a flat Earth would be much larger in scale than that of a round Earth, right? But like I said, I'm not entirely convinced. But these last couple of clips got me thinking, you know what? Maybe there's some truth to it. Maybe. But anyway, leave your thoughts, comments, and opinions down below. And I'm going to catch y'all in the next one. See ya.